So how do you become a film producer? I think film producing is one of those professions, kind of like how do you become a director, same thing. You have to just do it. I personally don't think there's like this path that's the best path. I know sometimes people like, oh, be a PA, do this. And it's like, yeah, that's helpful because at least you kind of have an idea of what's going on and you get some on-set experience. Again, I don't think it's necessary, but if it makes you feel more comfortable, you can always do that. But I don't think it's necessary. I think like most things, you can actually just get started right away if you're resourceful and if you're willing to learn. That's the most important. Because in the beginning, you're not going to know too much, but you're learning. And there's so much information out there. Like YouTube has so much information that you can get a really, really good idea about everything just by going through that. But that would be my number one advice, is definitely just get started and do the thing. The other thing that I would say is I wouldn't personally share with that many people what I'm trying to do if it's something like film producing that a lot of people see as like this dream career or this faraway thing that's really hard to do. What I've noticed, and especially in the entertainment industry, when you start telling people like, oh, I want to do this, or I want to make this movie, I'm trying to do this, first thing a lot of people always say is like, oh, it's hard. That's hard. And it's like, yeah, of course it's hard. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be hard. But it's like a lot of people will kind of put in their fears of things and kind of project them onto you. And it's the same way with family and friends sometimes. They will unintentionally kind of project their fear onto you or kind of be negative about it. And again, that's not, I don't think in general for most people that's coming from a bad place. Obviously they love you. Yeah, people do that. They unintentionally do that because most people live more in a state of fear than they do in a what's possible type of thing. I think people lose that from childhood. Obviously when you see kids, they think everything's possible. And as we get older, we start, dealing with rejection, dealing with no's, having other people tell us what's possible and what's not possible. And that affects your brain, you know what I mean? And I think you have to be very, very careful with that. So if you have a dream or you have something that you really want to do that's not common and is a harder thing to do, then I think not sharing it with too many people, and especially people that are not on the same path, is ideal or is smart to do. Because in the beginning, when you're doing something, let's say you're starting as a film producer and you want to be a film producer. In the beginning, it's almost like a fire that's just starting in you, right? So it's this thing that you're feeling, this passion that you're feeling, and it's very easy to blow that fire out basically because you're not sure already. Like you have your own feelings that are going on, maybe some doubts, some fear yourself. And if you start sharing it with the wrong people, then all of a sudden it's very easy to lose motivation, be like, oh, maybe it's not possible, maybe I shouldn't do this. And you just start doubting. All this self-talk starts and you start procrastinating and all these things. I've learned just in general from the things that I've started, even when I started my talent management company, I barely told anyone about that. I think one or two people maybe that I trusted. And that was probably the smartest thing I could have done, because if I would have asked anyone, they would be like, oh, you have to be an assistant for 2 years, or you have to do this for 3 years, or it's really hard to do that, you can't just start that. But I did just start because in that way I didn't know how hard it was. And I think in general it's better to sometimes not know how hard something is, or not start trying to find out how hard something is. There's really, in my opinion, not a positive to that. I think it gets you to procrastinate, gets you to worry, and it's like you should just go and start doing it and see what happens and keep adjusting from there. I think in general the people that achieve something or do something or create something, they're the same as anyone else, but they just take the action regardless of what they're feeling. And I think that's the most important, is taking action no matter what you're feeling and not waiting too long, because our mind is designed to protect us, right? And a way of protecting us is to feel fear, which helped us a lot to evolve and survive and all that. But for things like this that aren't survival things, even though it can feel like that for your brain or for you, it's not. So the only way I think to not let that hinder you is to kind of quickly decide on things and take actions fairly quickly. I think the longer you wait and procrastinate, doubts enter your mind, all these voices enter your mind, potentially other people if you are talking to them, and all of a sudden you have all these doubts and all these reasons why it won't work or it can't work, and then it becomes very, very difficult. So I think in general better to start, get it it going, and then you can start talking to people, especially if you need to bring people on board or you need help or mentorship. It's better to start going and already have it going, and then get people that you trust that are also, or mentors, or that are also in the same place or going the same direction or further ahead of you. Go to them and build it. Just be very careful with who you surround yourself with, because it's very easy to basically get that dream squashed in a way, or that fire put out, whichever way you want to see it. And I think it's really important. And I think what's great about producing is that it's one of those things that's extremely valuable. And I actually think there's not as many people that are good at it, especially in the indie level, or that even want to do it. There's always people that want to direct, write, act, and those type of things. And there's a lot of those people that are always looking for a producer, someone that has business sense, that like has a plan, that has willpower to move a project forward and put it together. That is a very hard skill. I think that's also a skill, like if we're talking about AI and stuff like that, that won't be getting taken over by AI, because it's human interaction. You're putting teams together, you're putting people together. You have to be able to communicate, you have to be able to sell, you have to be able to manage different things. I think it's a very, very valuable skill, and I think producers are some of the most valuable people in a movie and largely responsible for a movie usually being made, especially at the indie level. Without producers, they don't get made. So I think, remember that even if you're starting out, you are bringing a lot to the table, because it will be, if the project moves forward, it'll be you that really pushed it forward. The great thing is you really don't need experience. You can just get started. So you can literally go out there, find a script, and I've made a video on that and how to do that, so check that one out. You can go out there, find a script. If you got a good script, that's step one, really important. And then if you really believe in it and you can sell the vision of it, that's important. So you can learn how to do that. Pitching and sales is a skill like anything else. Like, I'm naturally pretty introverted, and I've learned those skills because I knew they were necessary for me to really do anything in any business. So it's something that you can learn, and there's enough resources out there that you can learn it. Then once you have that, you try to get a director, cast attached, all that type of thing, which again, you need a good script, of course, because if the script is bad, then it becomes a lot harder. But you need to be able to sell the script as well. You need to sell your vision. Like, they need to feel from you that you actually have steps and a plan in how to make it happen, and not just like, here, I got this cool script and you guys want to be part of it. Like, that's, no one wants to be part of that, because that looks like it's going to be the type of thing that's never going to get made and that there's not much action behind it. But if you have a very clear plan, like, hey, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and this is when I want to shoot. I want to shoot May 17th, and this is the steps that I'm going to take, then yeah, then people will jump on board, because people are always looking for someone that can actually make the thing happen. That's the hardest skill in anything. That's why entrepreneurship is so hard, and why that trait, I think, is a more rare trait, because there's not that many people that want to start something from nothing and take all the initiative and really do the initial push. I think it's easier sometimes to find the people that are good at their jobs than it is to be the person putting everything together. So you can do that right away. That's just something you can learn, and you learn this like through experience. Like, when I started my first business like 15, 16 years ago, I didn't have that experience at all, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm still making mistakes, and I'll probably continue to make mistakes, but hopefully get better every single time. And that's how it is for you. So I would also remember that for an entrepreneur, for a producer, especially if you're starting out in anything, is to be okay with not being that good initially. A lot of people, they hold themselves back or don't want to start because they're worried they're not going to be good. You're probably not going to be that good the first time. So it's better to just get started and be like, and accept that reality and tell yourself like, okay, well, I'm starting this the first time I'm ever going to produce. I'm probably going to make mistakes. I'm probably not going to be as good as I will be by film 5, for example, which that's obvious. But sometimes just letting that be okay is all the permission that you need. Because I think too many people are like, this has to be great right away. It's like, well, you're probably not going to be as good as you can be the first time. So it's better to accept the reality and be like, okay, I'm learning, I'm gonna learn, but I'm gonna learn as quickly as possible. And even if I make mistakes, it's okay, because I'm gonna learn from them. I think that mindset is super, super important for anything, especially for producing. And again, you don't need a lot. Like, I think a lot of people also think that they need, oh, well, I don't have $1 million budget, or I don't have a $100,000 budget. You can start with nothing. If you're resourceful and you can find even places to film where there's no one, or you do it guerrilla style, where you just shoot it without permission, and you're just careful with all that, but you're just resourceful in that way, you can shoot something completely for free. I mean, Christopher Nolan famously made his first movie for, I think it was $6,000 or $8,000. Obviously that was a long time ago, but arguably that was a lot harder back then because they had to do it on film and technology wasn't what it was today. Like, there were a lot more barriers back then, so it's pretty amazing that he made a movie on $6,000 or $8,000. Nowadays, you can make it probably for even less because of all the technology. You can literally make a no-budget movie. But maybe you don't even start that way. You could start with a short film, literally a day or two, and you can do that completely for free. And if you want to find people that are good at their jobs or good at their parts, you can go on Facebook groups. There's so many groups out there for people looking for work, that will want to be inspired, that want to work with someone that will get it done and actually produce a cool thing or something fun. Then just go on there and you'll find them, and that's how you get started. I wouldn't overthink it. Don't think you have to be this person or you have to have this amount of money or these amount of credits. It's like, no, just get started, believe that you can do it, and believe that you're going to learn quickly. And again, there's so many ways to also get people on board and make it, even if you're a first-time producer, if you have a very good plan. So if you say to someone like, okay, once we make the movie, I'm going to go to all these distributors, I'm going to go every country, I'm going to go to 200 distributors, and I'm really going to try to sell this movie and do everything I can to get this seen. That's way different than someone that doesn't know what they're going to do when the movie's complete, or they're going to be like, yeah, hopefully we can find distribution. It's like, well, that's not a plan. Hopefully finding distribution. Now, if you tell me you're going to email 200 distributors, that's a plan. And you can't find that. That's Google, ChatGPT, whatever. You can find it anywhere. It's not that hard to find. And then you just start doing the thing. And I think if you have a plan like that, you will get people that are good at their jobs, that will make a good movie with you, because they see like, okay, this guy's actually going to do everything he can to get this movie seen. And that's one of the biggest fears and one of the hardest things in indie filmmaking, is getting your movie seen. Plenty of good movies out there that never get seen by anyone, because most filmmakers and producers as well, they think their job is done when the movie stops shooting, or when they finally edit it all together. They think they're done. No, you're still like 50%, 60% of the way there. You need to spend an equal amount of time on the marketing, the distribution side. You cannot just hand it off to someone and hope that it goes somewhere. You need to be super involved with that if you want the movie to do as good as possible. I think that's important to remember, and if you bring that skill to a movie, that's extremely valuable. And again, you can get really talented people out there, especially if you live in a big city, but even if you don't, you can find people. And there's different ways that you can structure it. If you have no money, you can do deferred pay. You can do, everyone gets a certain percentage of the movie. Then everyone's equally invested. There's different ways to get it done when it's your first movie and you have no money. And I think the way to go about it is to just creatively think, can we figure out here deal-wise? And sometimes when you're negotiating, you can literally just ask that, like, what would be enticing for you if we have no money? What would be the most enticing for you? And work from there. I think that's really important to make sure you get people on board. They're excited and happy to work on the project, and you can only do that by being transparent and finding a deal that's best for both of you and that you're able to do. So obviously, if you have no money, that limits what the deals will look like, but you can still figure something out. Because that first movie shouldn't be about you becoming a millionaire or becoming rich from it. It should be about making the best thing possible and starting your career. Doesn't matter if you make $1 from it yourself. Better that you get it made and put all the money towards making the best movie possible. And if you have no money, then still figure out the best deals you can make for people, that you get the best people you can get for that. So I hope that was helpful. So just don't forget, you don't need any permission to start. You don't need any experience to start. You just have to go out there and get started. I hope that helps, and I'll talk to you guys soon.